like the Michael Jackson hat, but we are
I
live.
don't know. I could wear a hoodie wrong way around. Not a hoodie. I've got the motorbike out there. You know, I've got a big motorbike out there.
Yes, and we're live, Gareth.
Okay, we're live. I've got a big
Yeah.
motorbike out there.
But
October.
it's a jacket. I really like that jacket.
Thank
Proper
you.
biker jacket. Yeah.
Got a shower, perfumed.
Are you going out on a date?
No, I'm going to bed after this. I'm absolutely shattered. I've just got in from Dubai. It's like I've just got in from Morrison's, or I've just got in from Waitrose. No, I've just got in from Dubai.
Okay.
You were trying to accuse me of having too much fun out there, weren't you?
Yes. I was only judging by your Instagram post with the lovely ladies, one on each arm in the middle of that ring.
But that's only in the middle of the ring, nowhere else. It's all work. It's all work, as you well know. You know me.
Yes.
I'm working, not enough play.
The consummate professional.
Not enough play, I'm afraid. Can you hear my microphone today?
Have you plugged it in?
Oh, stop it. Of course I plugged it in.
What, have you attached it to the... He's muted now.
No, I'm doing the...
See, Gareth is fiddling with his bits, and what will happen...
I beg your pardon.
Time will go, well, his electrical bits...
Stop it.
I'll take it the acoustic is still in working order. While he fiddles with his particles...
No, I'm coming.
Excuse me?
I'm coming now.
Lovely. Too much information. Anyway, good evening to you all. I'm Abz of October Red, and I'm joined by the lovely, the wonderful Gareth A. Davies, who has got a smaller cup today and has just come back from Dubai. Do you want to let us know a little bit about what you've been doing out there? I know it's the crypto fight nights, but where can we watch those? Because I saw a clip on Twitter or X, and you was commentating on what people were talking about was a good fight, but I didn't know where to watch it.
Fight TV, shuffle.com.
Fight TV.
Somewhere else. I'm not sure where else it was, but it was a raucous little show. 2,000 people in there, 16 fights, 19 countries, 5 continents represented, 8 cryptocurrency stars, if you like, fighting in it as well. Many of them novices, a bit like white collar, knocking spells out of each other, and then going to earn billions in Ethereum an hour later or whatever they do at Bitcoin. And it's beyond me, Abz. It's beyond me, October Red. It really is. All I do is I just roll up and try and be a little hand on the tiller. You know,
a bit of a cool cat for the commentary. Gareth, we've got to talk about last night. I did put your article in the chat so people could have a read of it. But let me just say good afternoon to everyone that's here, that's typed up in the chat. Gaza lad, Gareth is Zuko from Greece. Laughing emoji.
Zuko from Greece. Oh yeah, what's his name? John Travolta's mate. Yeah, no, it's a nice jacket, this, but I do genuinely ride it on my motorbike.
I just like red leather jackets, and it's a biker jacket. So, do you want to show us your Vans, your black and white Vans?
How do I do that?
I'll just put it. There we go. Look at that. Fantastic.
Yeah, a piano in a minute.
Good afternoon, good evening to Chris.
Here tonight with the Vans up on here like that.
As long as you're comfortable, sit however you like, Gareth.
Absolutely.
You know,
wrote that story on the way back from Dubai.
Yeah, right. And that's what we're going to talk about. But I just got to say hello and have my manners to the people in the chat. Chris Welsh, she's saying, I think Garcia will be buzzing now. That's one word for it. And the Lion, hi, Red. Hello, Gad. Hello, everybody else. And Kayoshi, good evening. Abz, and good to see you again. Yeah, I feel like I don't leave these lives alone. So good evening to all of you. Gareth, your article, and obviously I'll put it in the chat so people can have a read of that. The link is straight to the Telegraph on X. Your thoughts on it, Gareth, because I was a little bit skeptical throughout the whole lead up. Is he okay? Has he got the mental capacity? Is he trolling? Is he not trolling? Is this his personality? I was all up and down, and even up until like the weigh-in day, I thought, hold on a minute, he just doesn't seem right to me. But your article mentions a previous fight, a historic fight, where a similar thing has been done to involved in the lead up. Your expertise, you're the one that's been around for a lot longer than I have in the sport.
Well, which other fight? Well, there's Teo Lopez, who seemed totally mad against Josh Taylor.
No, it was an older fight you mentioned in the article. Where's it gone? I think it's at the beginning.
No, that's a play.
No, it's a play.
No, that's a play by a really famous Italian playwright.
Right, okay.
Luigi Pirandello won the Nobel Prize for Literature in about mid-1930s. And I studied when I was at university. It's fascinating theatre of the absurd. And this has been a very absurd promotion in lots of ways. And you've got to say now, and it's in the headline in the Telegraph piece, that maybe there was method behind Garcia's madness. And the reason I compared it to Luigi Pirandello's play Enrico il Quarto, Henry IV, is what Henry IV did. He was an Italian aristocrat, and this is in the play. And he convinced everyone around him that he thought he wasn't Henry IV, but he convinced everyone that he thought he was the king. So they all went along with it, and they all thought he'd gone mad. And they employed people as his courtiers and dressed him up, and they all dressed. And in the end, he turned around to them in the last but one act, and he says, "You know, I'm having you all on here, and you're just doing what I'm doing just to keep me happy." And I felt like there was and it is the theatre of the absurd, and it is how people can be led down the wrong path. And I think Ryan Garcia used all his intuitive madness, if you like, right out there in the weird bits of himself to say, no, I'm going to do all this. I'm just going to say what I feel, do what I feel. And in the end, it worked so much because that was the narrative of the whole promotion in the end, wasn't it? October Red. And that's what all anyone was talking about. And I think it made Devin Haney and his team underrate him. And I think it made Devin Haney and his team go, we don't care if he's overweight because he's not going to be all that good anyway. And when he was over the weight, I think Garcia calculated in a scientific way that he'd probably weigh a weight division and a half above Devin Haney. And he knows Haney hasn't got much power. And he's got lots of power. And that left hook was brilliant last night. It was like a machine. And I think is one of the biggest mind games we've ever seen. Going back to Muhammad Ali, going back to Teo Lopez against Josh Taylor, as I just mentioned. Everyone thought he was unhinged before his fight with Taylor, and yet it was his best performance. And I have said all along, and I don't know if you and I have had this chat, who really has the right to be a psychotherapist or a psychologist over Ryan Garcia? My theory was if his family's around him, which they are, that's good. Henry, as we'll probably no doubt talk about tonight, Henry and Eddie, the Henry and Eddie fight.
That ended very quickly.
Very one-sided. I thought Eddie got owned. It's only trying to get him to come back at us. And I think what happened with Ryan Garcia was that he thought, you know what, I'm going to forfeit that $600K US dollars or 1.5 million or whatever.
1.5, yeah.
And I'm just going to go in there. I'm just going to smash him up because he's underestimating me anyway. I'm just going to do what I do. He didn't look like he had any fear. He looked like a savant in there. And he didn't care whether he won or lost. And that was a good attitude for him to have. Now, whether he's got deeper seated anxieties that he had before that took him away from the sport for a year, maybe. But I always said I'm happier with him training for a fight and being in a camp and staying physically fit and being around people all the time rather than going into cocoon, going and disappearing and maybe going into his own darkness. There may be some darkness coming now because the low after the high, but I think it's made it a fascinating theatre of the absurd to bring Luigi Pirandello back into the frame. I mean, what do you think?
I'm not a psychotherapist, but I do understand mental health a little bit. I thought that there may be some issues there.
Based on what? Based on what?
Just his up and down.
Yeah, yeah. But
Mannerisms.
Maybe he's bipolar. Maybe he's.
Well, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. And just because he has got
wasn't struggling with anything. He wasn't struggling to want to fight. He wasn't struggling to train. He wasn't.
That's not mental health. Doesn't do that. Mental health. You can.
No, I know that. I know it's hidden. But what I'm saying is, fitness and an objective can control mental health as well, and that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're occupied, when we're excited by something, when we're stimulated, it often helps our mental health, I think.
Yeah, it's a distraction.
Yeah, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
It is.
No, it isn't a distraction.
It makes you refocus.
It is a distraction. I thought your precept there was
a distraction to us. No.
Distraction is life. No, the distraction is the mental health, in my view. So don't be distracted by it. I know moods come sometimes. I'm affected by the weather. Sad. I don't like them. Sad, fucking sad. When it starts, when that darkness. I mean, looking it out there right now. Let me just look it out. I'm looking out there right now. Right. Oh,
yeah, that looks quite bright to me.
Look how gorgeous that is out there.
Yeah.
The trees and the bushes, the big blue sky. You know, and it's going to be like that for another 2 hours tonight.
Yeah.
By which time I will have stripped, lie on my bed, have a Netflix on, have my little pajama bottoms on, have a couple of flakes, have a nice big bottle of fizzy water and chill out and be ready for sleep. It's now nearly 7 o'clock, but if it was like this at 4 o'clock, I'm like, I need to do something. And that's why it does affect people. And you get to learn about your own mental health, don't you? And I think maybe Ryan's learning about himself. It wasn't the right thing when he feels anxiety to go away and disappear for a year. You know, it's better to be with you, chuck it out there, get responses, feed off it. I think it's worked for him.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm just saying it feels like a bit of a roller coaster. Like I was saying, is he okay? Is this part of act? I don't even know why I was even that concerned, to be honest. Maybe because I just thought maybe if he goes in the ring and he's not quite with it, then he could get hurt. But in saying that,
if it had been the other way around and Ryan was getting hurt in that fight like Devon was, we probably have had more concern about him. But it made him a hero on the night. This is
the brutality of the entertainment business, whether he's acting or not, whether, like he said, he did say, you know, he said, I've got ADHD. He did say that, you know, which can sometimes cause a bit of hyperactivity, one for a better word. You know, a lot of fighters do suffer with that. It's quite common amongst the youth today. It was just a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, and I get it. He's 24 years old. I always look at these fighters, some of these fighters, as like, I wonder, you know, if that was my kid, what I'd be like. I get that maternal instinct.
I've interviewed him 3 times,
and
I think he's a superb human being, and he's also been very kind to me. You know, he says, "I get you. I love the glasses. I've watched you. You're yourself." He's someone with a radar. He's got sensitivities. He doesn't mind putting himself out there. He's got 12 million Instagram followers. He was a star early on. He was a star of boxing as a kid. He's used to being in the public eye. He's growing up in front of everyone. He's almost like a Love Islander. He's got matinee idol looks, hasn't he? I mean, he's a beautiful looking human being. Could be in the movies, couldn't he?
You know? I remember you wrote that it's like the matinee style look.
Yeah, but he's got that. I mean, you know, he's got all of that, you know, and he's a dad already. He's a young dad, isn't he? You know, so he's got responsibilities. I mean, apparently he's incredibly wealthy already. So what's he trying to do?
What's he trying to achieve?
I remember the last time he and I spoke on a Zoom, and I was saying, "What's your message?" And he was saying it's, you know, that the world is a tough place to be in, especially when everyone thinks they know who you are. But we're all on a journey for a reason, and all I'm doing is trying to conquer my fears. And I don't think he went in there with any fear.
Well, his performance spoke volumes. I said, usually when you get lead ups like this, the fight can be quite anticlimactical. Sometimes it's a usual fight, a boring fight, or you think, oh, all of that lead up for nothing, but it carried on. And this is like the fan of me that like the spectacle that we're seeing, you kind of like think, does he need some help? But then I'm there still indulging in all of it. And we see the spectacle carry on into the ring with the power punches. And one thing I'd need to apologize for publicly is underestimating his actual IQ. We do know that he's got speed and he's got power. But one thing that I saw that he demonstrated to us, which is something that Devin Haney usually demonstrates, was his timing. The way that he landed the shots, the way that he was almost like setting up traps for Haney to walk into them. It was surprising.
Well, the whole cabal, the whole event, the whole circus was a trap for Devin Haney that the praying mantis Garcia set for him, from circumventing the weight, pulling the wool over his eyes that he wasn't going to be mentally right in there, carrying it on all the way. Yes,
all the way.
All the way. Method behind his madness. The ultimate con artist, if you like, to do that. I think there's an element of him embracing that. We all have moments when you embrace our lunatic genius that's on the edge of the cliff.
Okay.
You don't want to go over the cliff, but you want to be just there, and that's when the genius comes out. We're seeing comedians and actors and musicians, and there's moments. Everyone has their moments. That was his moment last night. It was his moment, and all the speculation about. As I said to you again, all I said was I'm preferring to see the kid focused and getting ready for a fight than disappearing into the darkness.
Okay.
With doctors or whoever it be saying, "Oh, he's not ready for it." His parents are around him. For goodness sake. It's not like he's parentless. And as you can see, old Henry Garcia's got some stones on him. He's only 5'3", and he'll take on someone who's 6'6". He wasn't worried about Eddie, was he?
No, what did Eddie call him? The little fella. Thought he was going to chin him. I think that was a credit. Got to give credit to an IFL interview there where he was in the hallway, like stunned as we all were. I mean, I woke up to it. I've watched the highlights. I still haven't watched the full fight.
Yeah, I was about to jump on the flight while the fight was going on. I was just about to take off, and it was amazing.
And his dad was very annoyed, and it's almost like, "I told you so." Going around telling everyone, "I told you so."
But don't you think Ryan took that "I told you so" from all that kind of the fact he was being written off, the fact he was being denigrated against, people saying he wasn't well, he didn't deserve to be in the ring. He took all of that energy and put it into this space inside himself and said, "Right, I'm going to show you all now. I don't have any fear. I've got nothing to fear." And I think he's growing. There'll be a little bit of downtime and a little bit of down time because of the high. He'll do a few zany things, but the guy has crossed over. This is what he's born to do. He's born to be in that ring. There's no question about it. And now it sets up the excitement of him maybe facing Tank Davis again at 147. Of facing Shaka Stevenson, of coming over here and fighting Conor Benn in a stadium fight. All these things that are being talked about. Keyshawn Davis at 147. Ryan's the golden goose. He always has been for all of these guys. He's the one with the big numbers.
Yeah, we saw that from Golden Boy when they said, "Look, you're going to have to come to us now." We are talking about Gervonta Davis saying, "Look, this time we make the rules. It could possibly be a catch weight, 144, 145 pounds, but we're not going back down to 140. You're not imposing, strict rehydration clauses. Now we're the A side. Now you come to us. It's our turn now." And that sort of forthright, I told you so, echoes throughout the whole of the Garcia team, whether it's from Golden Boy, whether it's from the dad. But to be fair, the only one that's not really saying I told you so and is maybe more flippant about it because of the way he is Ryan. He's taking it all in his stride. It's like, yeah, I won that fight. Yeah, I fancy, fighting Fondora. Anybody else is out there, is so dramatic, but yet so flippant in his tone. And it's like, he's just up and down. He's over there. He's under here. And it's like, you cannot grasp him, but that's what makes him interesting. That's what makes us watch. And that is what is the extreme side, Gareth, of the entertainment business.
Yeah, but I think there was a very calculated move by them to come in heavy. Really good business for them. I mean,
what about the belt? System. What about the value of the belt?
Doesn't need the belt. Ryan Garcia doesn't need a belt. We'd watch him and Tank Davis again tomorrow. We'd watch him and Shakur Stevenson tomorrow. Yeah. They're all big fights. He brings a big audience. He's a vulnerable fighter with massive power. And last night, he utterly silenced Devin and Bill Haney, by the way. We haven't heard a word from them, have we?
No, I think Devin's, been very respectful in defeat.
Yeah.
He said, no, my jaw isn't broken. I think that was something that came out, that maybe his jaw's broken due to the swelling on the side of the face for the numerous hooks that he was taking all night. But I think mate, it's just the timing of it. Even if you slow it down and just because when I watch boxing, Gareth, I watch it to see the movement, the style, the way that they can tell what's coming back at them, the way they throw out their shots. I really like to look at the technical side of it. So that is what's humbled me. Yes,
I
know we can punch.
About what Ryan Garcia did. What his first mission last night was to land the left hook, and he floored Devin Haney. And as soon as that happened, Devin Haney is thinking, "Oh shit, I've forgotten how hard this guy hits, and he's fine in here, and he's just found me really easily." And so for 4 rounds, he clawed his way back in the jab, with the jab, and Garcia was going, "Well, I'm not going to have a boxing match. I'm just going to smash you. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do." And so slowly, after 5 or 6 rounds, he starts to go after him, and he drops him, then he beats him up, and he drops him, and he beats him up, and he drops him. And Haney's holding on for dear life for the rest of the fight. And he gets beaten up. Look at his face. Look at the demoralization on his face afterwards. And you know what? There's a thing called hubris. And, and hubris comes before a fall in the Greek terms. And
yes.
When Bill Haney was saying we're going to take this guy near to death, I didn't like hearing that stuff in the last 48 hours, I'll be honest with you. And maybe they're just selling the fight. Like Deontay.
I think Garcia said the same about dead body. I think they both said it. Yeah, I think they both said it.
Neither of them, if I'm honest. I don't like it. But we don't want to be hearing it from Bill Haney. He's not in there.
Mm.
I mean, I like Bill so much, but I just think this fight got really personal. I know they were selling it. Like you say, they were very respectful with each other afterwards. They will fight again, probably at 147. Still a big fight. It's bragging rights in America, this fight. It's bragging rights. This was the 7th inning between them, wasn't it? 3-3.
Yes, it was 3-3.
This was the overtime, so they'll have to go to an 8th. And right now Garcia will be on cloud 9. How soon he comes down, I don't know.
That's the crash.
Yeah,
you've spoken to many fighters, as I have, and I always say to them, "What do you like?" Well, different fighters say different things, but it all comes back to one thing. I said, "Do you like to force your opponents to quit? Make them say no more, or do you enjoy that KO?" And often the fighters have said, "I just like taking almost like you're taking the power out of your opponent, whether you knock them out."
You're taking the soul.
And it's like that's what's addictive. And because you know the fighters that I've spoken to said you just won't get that feeling anywhere else. And then you start to understand why some fighters in retirement may end up either alcohol or substance abuse, because they're chasing that feeling that you just can't get anywhere else.
Well, I will tell you one thing, and that is that right now, Ryan Garcia is living in Devon Haney's head rent-free for a long time. For a long time, that'll be, you know.
Somebody said he probably won't get over it. I can't remember who it was. I've been catching up on a lot of the... is that a lion in your fireplace? What's that there?
Griffins.
Griffins. Okay. Very interesting fireplace. Well, this is what Gareth does. He wanders off during our conversation. Let me just go into the chat. Yeah, I've got mine as well.
There's two griffins in the fireplace.
Two griffins. I like. So weird. So weird not seeing Gareth burning a spliff. Good afternoon, Raymond.
Hang on. Good point.
And let's have a look. JJ's put, my sister won 550 over an $80 bet to pick up. On top of that, I picked up 600 after Lopez beat Taylor. Key is simple. Look beyond the veil. And that comes in from JJ. Good afternoon. Gordy beat...
Yeah. That's a very good point, because when you think it's very easy, there's a character in Shakespeare's plays called Shakespeare's Fool.
Okay.
And the fool always speaks the truth, but everyone laughs at what they say. And it's almost like embarrassed laughter. And I think when in fight terms, when people are saying the truth a lot, when people are saying the truth a lot, they're laughed at. It's like they laughed at Tio before that Taylor fight, didn't they? They thought he completely lost his mind. And yet, how brilliant was he? He was trolling, Gordy, but he was trolling at the margins of where his mind would allow him. Any further, and it might have been too far. At times it went, we all have weird conversations deep into the night with each other about strange things that we wouldn't broadcast because they're deep and they're between friends. But I think he was just broadcasting his mind at times, you know, and he was unraveling.
That's a good way to put it.
He was unraveling at times.
JJ additionally goes on to say, Garcia was stating the facts about the stuff, and Gareth has covered this in his article about the stuff involving children. No one wanted to know. Garcia is such a beautiful soul, although a tiny few people saw that, knowing he would win. And then he's asked where you got your jacket from. Good evening to Jay Lanks. And the atmosphere out there looks sick. Isn't it funny how Ryan holds no belt, yet he holds the leverage? Well, and it's the draw. Yeah. Boxing is changing.
It's always been like that. When you are a big star, you don't need a belt. And that's what we were saying just now, is that he's been the golden goose in that group of fighters for a while. You don't need the belt. What you need is you either want to see him get knocked out or knock someone out. And last night became a big star because everything was seemingly stacked against him, even though when he fought Tank Davis, it was stacked against him because of the weight clause and all of those kind of things.
Yeah, that was a bit horrible
last night. And he was underestimated. And you can never underestimate your opponent. It's so important.
And he did it. He did underestimate him, because he said that. Haney has said that. He said, you know, that hook, and he shook his head like, why didn't I do what I was training to do? And he said, I went in there and I fell asleep. Literally not because of the knockdowns, but he switched off. And there you have it, you know, that underestimation. Yeah, I'll name this account later. Good evening. Ryan Garcia versus Tio Lopez. Who are you picking? They are both characters. Gareth?
Well, weirdly, I would go for Lopez in that fight. I went for Haney last night. My heart said Garcia. My head said Haney last night by late stoppage or even on points, because I thought he'd school him, because I didn't think Ryan would produce the performance that he did. I was wrong. I was happy to be wrong. But, you know, Mr. S has gone for Tio. I think on paper you probably pick Tio, but after that performance, Tio and Haney are quite similar fighters, but Tio's probably got a little bit more power.
Yeah, let's go through the chat. Gareth from Gryffindor, got the Harry Potter fans in the house. I didn't know Gareth smoked. Makes more sense now.
It's only vapes, but it won't be for much longer.
Good, because you know they're dangerous, and I'm not going to let you on that. Gareth is Harry Potter fan and is in Gryffindor, lol. And that comes in from our Toby Ringgirl Bartlett, who always comments on, well, sometimes he does. He likes to compliment the Ring Girls. So shout out to the ones that were on GBM Sports last night. I think you kept young Toby awake. Surviving sobriety. Ryan reminds me of the new Ricardo Mayorga.
Mayorga, yeah.
And here we go. Tyson never needed a belt when he came back from his prison or suspension.
Well, he was the most famous boxer in the world, wasn't he? So, you know.
Yeah. Everybody laughed at Tyson Fury, saying he was going to walk Deontay Wilder down and knock him out.
Second fight.
Yeah. And Mr. S, AJ has no belt and sells out 99% of boxers. Some really good, valid arguments here, which, Gareth, will we continue to see the royalty that is in belts, or are we moving away from, really moving away from it?
Well,
and I know we spoke about this before.
Belts are important for broadcasters and having something to aim at all the time. But once you reach a certain level, the belts aren't necessarily like if Fury and Usyk have an amazing first fight, they don't need belts on the line for the second one. You just don't need the belts because you've got the two leading heavyweights in the world, and we know Joshua's not far behind them, and Parker's not far behind that. So you don't, because once you establish who is a commodity in terms of an audience. I mean, you only have to look at Ryan Garcia's 12 million social media followers. I think it's 12 million to see that he is, a big star anyway.
I think he's gone up to 20 million now.
Well, there you go.
Literally in a few hours.
Well, there you go.
I think his following is actually shot up from when you've done the article until now. I mean, please feel free to check. But yeah, I'm sure he's on 20 million because a few people have commented on that.
I said 12 earlier today. I was way off then in my article.
It's flown up over, it's flown up in a few hours. It's not even been 24 hours.
The guy is never going to need to have a belt. He's just going to have great matchups. It's as simple as that,
What do you think then? I think there was some issue because I'd presume Davies and Haney lost the fight, apologies. I thought then he would have lost the belt, but WBC chairman Maurizio Sulaiman has come out and said no, he'll keep it due to the fact that Garcia didn't adhere to the weight conditions. Haney still keeps the belt. Now, there's been a few skeptics, and I can understand why, that are saying that Maurizio makes up the rules as he goes along. He's used an example from a very long time ago, but there's also the fact that if a belt becomes vacant, then nobody will be paying sanctioning fees. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think they agree.
As cynical as it is, Gareth.
When Garcia didn't make the weight, the belt becomes null and void in that instant for Garcia, and Haney can't lose it either, even if he loses the fight, and that's how it is. But I go back to the point that Garcia decided the belt didn't matter to him in this fight. It was the beating of Haney that really mattered to him, and it mattered to him to come in big, heavy, and strong. He's probably a middleweight when he was close to middleweight when he was in there, or light middleweight, or more than light middleweight, I think. Because apparently, according to Eddie Hearn, Garcia had cut 10 pounds in the 24 hours leading into the weigh-ins to make 143. So if he was 153 before, he probably would have gone in there at 158. We don't know what the actual weight is, I think, but he'd have been really heavy. He looked big. He looked big in his torso. You could tell from those short shots that were just crumpling Haney. There was real weight and power behind all of it. I mean, he was so strong. He looked so strong.
Moving forward with that, then, what are your thoughts on same-day weigh-ins?
Well,
is that a bit controversial?
Yeah, I think they changed that a long time ago, because if people do drain too much and they haven't got enough fluid in their cells, it's
dangerous
to be going. It's more dangerous. I think it's better at 24 hours. I mean, look, you can critique him for not being professional for making the weight. There's no question you can do that. if you want to, I don't want to use the word hate on him, but if you want to be critical of him, there is a caveat there that he circumvented the rules, But Haney fell for it, thought he was going to school him.
Yeah, it was a fantastic fight, an amazing result.
It was.
And you've got to give respect for, both fighters. His father, as he's strolling around the arena after the fight, he's quite proud of his son. Everyone. And literally, I think Eddie Hearn was mid-sentence, and Eddie held out his hand like to say, "Fair play, congratulations." And his dad went off on one. Eddie was like, "Hold on a minute," and they had a bit of swearing. And he was saying, "Well, who have you got now?" And he mentioned Luke Campbell. I think he mentioned Pitbull Cruz, who's not one of Eddie's fight. And Eddie went, "Jerron Ennis boots," and then he went quiet, and then scurried over and went, "Yeah, let bygones be bygones." What did you think of that?
Well, I think there was just a lot of emotion and a lot of adrenaline afterwards from Henry. Showed his cojones, and I think
the little fella.
He felt his cojones, didn't he? And said, my
did, yeah.
He was looking at his own DNA, and I think it was just that thing. Look, you wrote my son off. Don't you write him off?
Don't you write
like all of you. Like I said, suddenly promoters and managers and boxers and journalists and commentators
psychotherapists.
We're all psychologists and psychotherapists. You didn't have a fucking clue. Let's be honest. People weren't walking around with him. I mean, Adi Oladipo, who I'm doing my show with tomorrow, on the midweek show on TalkSport, Adi was around him. He said, I think Ryan's fine. And I had that feeling. I was supposed to interview Ryan last week on a Zoom on the media day, and I didn't get him, annoyingly. But I would have known then, I think, when I spoke to him, whether he was there or not. And I think he was there. And I don't think he was really drinking beer at the weigh-in.
No, that was it could have been anything in there.
No, it was a trick. It was a trick. And they all fell for it. They all fell into the trap. They fell into it and they got spiked.
Yeah, somebody just put, Iffy put in there, "Good evening to you, Iffy. Funny how Oscar was at the Pulse Fight conference when he wins, but he's Casper when he loses." Oscar's known for that. I've seen him do that. He'll disappear, won't he? He said if it was apple cider vinegar in there. So yeah, Golden Suit, Mr. Golden Suit himself.
Well, Oscar's an unusual character as well, let's be honest. And, he's very zany. These are zany people. I think they enrich our sports. I think, look around other sports and they don't have these kind of characters. These guys are great for us. We're sitting here discussing them on a Sunday evening, 12 hours after the event, with as much kind of tension as when the fight was taking place. I was thrilled during it. And I was watching on a little monitor on my laptop on DAZN, about to board a flight, and I just wished I was in the arena, but I had a little job to do over at the cryptocurrency at the weekend.
Just a little job. But what are your thoughts then? We close this, and congratulations, commiserations. Yes, we hope to see you fight again. I hope Ryan Garcia is okay. And if people are thinking,
Haney, you mean?
Yeah. No. Well, yeah, obviously.
You hope he's okay? I think he's fine.
But it's just me. It's just the mother in me. I can't help it.
No, it's the empath in you. It's not just the mother. It's the empath. I feel exactly the same. I feel it for Devin Haney today. He's going to be feeling absolutely crestfallen. We hope that Ryan Garcia doesn't fall into a big hole right now, and that his faith in Jesus Christ sustains him. He's
very, very, very religious young man. Yeah. Dan, how you doing? Dino, sorry, the build-up and the result.
Dino Grigoropoulos.
Okay, Grigoropoulos. Amazing. The build-up and the result is almost identical. The first fight of Ali v. Sonny Liston.
Yeah, maybe. Everyone thought he was going to get hurt and in danger. And yet, look what he went in there. It's a dance, isn't it? Every fight's different. Look, Haney's lost to Garcia. Garcia's lost to Tank. You never know. Devin might school Tank. I don't think he does. I think the best of all of them is either Tank or Shakur Stevenson, but he'll bring those guys on now.
Oh, yeah. They were all out on social media tweeting, getting ready. I'm getting ready. I want this fight, etc., etc. So he's given a little bit of oomph back in the game. And whether people say bad things, good things, that everybody's been talking about Ryan Garcia in some shape or form. Hadrigan or Ryagan, I can't believe the comments pop up on the video. Appreciate you, Gareth. Look at that. That's nice.
What about a bit of love for October Red?
I get that. I get that
Who's
quite a
got
lot.
face cream and a makeup today, and
Oh, face cream, you cheeky bleeder. Are you usually saying I look a bit like an ashtray?
no, I'm saying the opposite. How clean, how
Keep
smooth,
digging.
how smooth you look.
So I usually look like a crocodile.
Let's talk to Ifsid. Ifsid.
Haney is crying in one of his mansions. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine, and he will also be back, and he'll probably fight Garcia again because the second fight will be even bigger.
Yeah, we've got one from Bomber Clark Boxing. I love that. Please get Gareth to speak a bit of Chinese when you get the chance.
Woman hun yu kwai, woman hui shuo puton hua.
And for those of us that don't speak,
你懂不懂啊？你是哪国家的？你是 Brumwayaga da.
and what does that mean?
You're a Brummy. I said, where
I heard Brum.
And I said, can we speak a bit of Chinese? That's it.
Awesome. If he's saying right about now, it's all about Haney, how Haney rebuilds. If he decides to fight in fear, he'll probably need a Ben Davison full time. I forgot he does that like remote training, doesn't he? Red is Brum's best YouTuber. Are we just saying Brum? Are we just going to say Brum? Are we not going to push the boundaries?
Brum.
But thank you. I appreciate it.
Am I doing your accent today or not?
To be fair, it is a good accent. It's quite a deep Brummy accent, isn't it? I don't speak like that.
我不会说香港话.
Lovely.
I only speak Mandarin. I only speak Putonghua or Hanyu, as it's also called.
Gareth,
yeah,
I want your predictions for the 5v5 before I move on to the press conference that's in the US, who that could be, and then we're going to close because I'm mindful that you've been traveling all day.
Oh, I'm almost starting to do this anyway.
I have that effect on people.
I'm so shattered. You always think you can do loads after a long flight, but you know what it's like. 5v5. So
can we start off at the top with the main?
Or can we go down and up to the...
Oh, let's go down and up then. Let's go from the bottom to the top.
Go on, from the bottom then.
Go on then.
What, feathers first?
Yes, you do it in your way, Tor.
Oh, a lot of people are picking Nick Ball, but I think Ray Ford's going to be a massive test. It's such a hard pick on that. I'm going to go Ball, but it wouldn't surprise me if Ford won it.
Okay.
It's going to be a real battle. Willie Hutchinson, the middleweights.
Shiraz.
Hamza Shiraz against Austin Ammo Williams.
Yeah.
Again, such a crossroads fight for these two. It could be a world title fight. Wouldn't 100%. Surprise me if Ammo overwhelmed Hamza, but Hamza, I think, has got something special about him.
Yeah.
And I think it might well be him that wins on the night. I'm going to go for Shiraz and Ball. I'm going to back the Brits in those two. Go on, call them out.
We've got Hutchinson, Richards.
Look, Richards has proven himself to be very, very decent, even at world level. At 175, he was very good against Bivol up in Manchester during lockdown. I was there live. He did a great job that night. Hutchinson's a very decorated amateur. He's gone AWOL a tiny bit in his career.
Yes.
I'm picking Richards, but it wouldn't surprise me if Hutchinson did it because he's got something about him, and he's a crazy character as well.
See, I haven't really paid much attention to him, but I'm hearing that he's quite good, and I think his brother as well.
Talented kid.
So I'm going to have a look at those, and let's move on to the home fighters, and not you say home fighters, but not the wild card heavyweight. So we're looking at Hrgovic versus the new and improved and confident Daniel Dubois.
I've got Hrgović winning that. I just think he's got another level or two in him, and I think this will bring out the best in him. He can't get hit early by Daniel Dubois, and I think it's a late stoppage for Hrgović in this one.
And we then go on to the captain of Matchroom.
Wilder.
Yeah, versus the Zilly Zhang.
It's hard to write Deontay Wilder off completely, but I think Zhang is so dangerous in the first 6 rounds of a fight. I'm going Zhang, but it wouldn't surprise me again if it was Wilder. That's what's brilliant about it. It's all 50-50s. Who are you picking, by the way?
I've picked the Zhang and Wilder one. I really don't know with that one. With the Hrgović one, I've gone for Daniel Dubois. I've gone for Craig Richards. I've gone for Hamza Shiraz. And I'm still a bit, I don't know about Ford versus Ball, because I know Ball's on you like a rash. I know Ford says he really wasn't happy at that weight and he wanted to evolve in a higher weight, but obviously this is a lovely little treat for him to stay at the weight, to have this fight. So with those two, I don't know.
Well, you're very similar to me in it then. And I think Beterbiev beats Bivol.
Same. 100%.
We may be wrong. I just, but Bivol's got a box so brilliantly that he really frustrates Bivol. But Bivol seems to come back and back and back at you until he breaks you. But he might have to go 12 rounds in this one.
He might have to. I'm really.
I spoke to the other day and asked Beterbiev if he'd like to fight Garcia. I had to sit down with both of them last week, and I said, would he like to fight Jaya Pattaya? Because I think Beterbiev against Opataya would be fantastic. But he said, I don't know yet. I'll tell you when me and Bivol have fought. He doesn't give a lot away, old Beterbiev, does he?
He doesn't. But I think Eddie Hearn called him arrogant. I don't think he was arrogant. I think he was confident. And it's almost like he knew something about Dimitri that made him a little bit uncomfortable, that made Dimitri uncomfortable. He's sort of like looking over saying, you know what it is. I don't know if it's fights that are supposed to happen before but there was venom there that we don't necessarily see with the calm, calculated killer Artur Beterbiev. I'm a massive fan of his, by the way. Not that you can tell.
I saw you blushing when you met him.
I was over the moon.
Yeah, doing selfies with all the presenters and YouTubers that day as well.
You've got to make those memories, Gareth. I could be dead next week.
With me because I wasn't even allowed in the photo for some reason. I don't really know.
Well, why. You was talking to Geraldine. Do you want me to interrupt your conversation with Geraldine?
I was trying to get an interview with Lennox Lewis, believe it or not.
Well, I'm not going to interrupt that, am I?
Fair enough. No, I did get in the photo, but I had my back to it. No, I'm going Beterbiev in that. I don't think he's venomous. I don't think he's like that when he's preparing for a fight.
Yeah, this is an old one. We've covered this ages ago.
No, so he's learning it. Because weirdly, I was driving in that night to the Wembley Arena, and I thought, I want to ask a different question of everyone tonight. And I'd been reminded of how fighters of old, some of them didn't wash for a week before they fought. Like obviously, some of them don't have sex, and they think of the old warrior code. I mean, some fighters like to have sex the night before, even a couple of hours before. Good on them, I say. Really? Good on them. I agree with that one.
Isn't that risky?
I don't know. Do you or not?
No, I'm just saying.
What's your abstinence period when you're fighting?
Well, that's what I'm saying, isn't it? Don't you want that pent-up aggression?
Question coming in from Gareth. What's your abstinence period when you're fighting October Red?
I think I'd hold off until afterwards. I think I'd wait. I'd probably go the duration of the camp.
I'd rather be in a good mood.
No, I'd rather be just,
ready to pop.
And then we can take it out on each other later on. Anyway, Jack, good evening. I'm hungover from last night. I watched it at a bar in NYC. That sounds so like nostalgic. Sorry, Gareth, I'm making you laugh. Absolutely got smashed as Garcia was pummeling Haney.
He was. He was. Good for you. Well, Haney and you got smashed, you know?
Oh, Jay says we need Abz in Riyadh. Please tell His Excellency to sign her up to a champion the Midlands. Also, does Gareth know where there are no women fighting yet in Saudi
Well,
Arabia?
there will be, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll do a massive women's card at some point. I mean, we're only going out for our 4th event there, by the way. We have had women on the cards. We had what was her name?
Ramla Ali, but that wasn't.
Ramla. Yeah, but we did have Ramlet. Very good story that was.
Yeah.
Ali used to do it in the dressing room before a fight. Man after my own heart, sir. Geez, what am I listening to here, AP? Yeah, but you're loving it, AP. No, we're getting a little bit X-rated. I think it's probably time to.
Oh, we love it. We love it. Skills Challenge had women on the card, which is exactly what Gareth was alluding to. Gareth, please get Abz on TalkSport. Her voice needs to be heard. It's heard on my YouTube channel.
How much did you pay Bumper Clark to say that?
Well, to be fair, his checks are in the post. I pay him weekly. And I think I'm actually in arrears now. Believe John 3. Is it chapter 3 verses 16? I'd like to thank His Excellency for the live stream. Yeah, thank him. Thank him. Why not? Gareth, before you go, and salute to you as well, Tiana. Beautiful name, Tiana Scott. She pays us well. Yeah, we should clip it, shouldn't we? They said clip Gareth saying Bomberclot. I could do that, couldn't I? There's a press conference in New York on Wednesday. I got the wonderful invite. Major world title press conference in New York on Wednesday. So I take it all the Matchroom guys. It's courtesy of His Excellency, Riyadh Season, and Matchroom Boxing. What are you thinking? Because I'm thinking Terence Crawford versus another one of my favourite fighters, Israel Madrimov. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, I think Crawford schools him. There's jeopardy there, but I think it's a bull in the matador, even though he's reminiscent a little bit of Golovkin. John 3:16, by the way, appears in the conversations between Nicodemus, a Pharisee, who only appears in the gospel, and Jesus, the Son of God, and shows the motives of God the Father on sending Jesus to save humanity. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Amen to that.
Amen. And what a Sunday session that was. And it feels like it's quite apt to close on that final verse from the Bible. Which version was that? I'll let you choose. I've got another version. Gareth, before you go, hold on. I'm disappearing off the screen now.
Oh, you're doing it?
Yeah, but I am here. Can you see that?
Take it back a bit, because you've got the whatever. Put it in front of your face, yeah.
Can you see it?
Do you know I got
Can't
a lot?
See it, can you? See Apocrypha
the other day from, I must say this, from Spencer Fearon, which was a Quran in English and Arabic.
All right, mine's the Apocrypha. It's the missing books from the Bible. But anyway, on that note, with all of you that have joined in on the chat today, thank you very much. Thank you, Gareth, for turning up in a super hot and cool red leather jacket and showing us those checkered vans, checkered flag
My
vans.
pleasure.
We love it. We'll do it again soon. And yeah, no doubt there'll be some sort of press conference or event that I'll see you at, but always a pleasure, and thank you to all of the listeners. And on that note, any final words from you, Gareth, before we close the stream?
Love and peace, baby. And
Love
then
and
rock
peace.
and roll.
Stay ready.
Ready.